Hey, hey, hey. What's up, fellas? Good morning. Man, that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible, man. I know it's a little early, man. It's 9:25. You guys been here for quite some time. We're going to try it one more time, man. We need the energy, the enthusiasm turned up just a little bit. Try it one more time with me. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's a little bit better, man. That's a little bit. Why ain't nobody sitting in the front row, man? We only got one. We only got one in the front row. We might have to call on some people, man. Well, listen, man, I'm Antonio Smith. All right, I'll be one of your hosts for this morning, man. I'm a former Buckeye, all right, and I'm co-founder and vice president of Driven Foundation. All right, we got some Buckeye fans in the room. Make some noise if you're a Buckeye fan. OH! OH! What we gonna do, man? We gonna win today or what? We gonna win today? We gonna win today, man? We got any fans from that team up north in the building? All right, security, get them out of here. Oh, good, man. Well, listen, we're going to have a lot of fun today, man. Show of hands real quick. If you have no idea why you're here, show your hands. Raise your hand if you have no idea why you're here. All right, that's okay. Raise your hand if you really didn't want to come here this morning. Raise your hand if you really didn't want to be here this morning. That's okay. That's all right. Raise your hand if your mother, your grandmother, your grandparent, your chaperone, somebody just forced you to get here. Somebody just told you to get on the bus. Right? All right, cool. That's all good, man. Put your hands down. Well, listen, man, no matter how you got here, no matter what inspired you to be here this morning, man, what I want to tell you is you are here, right? We are here right now today, man. So at this moment, I encourage you, since you are here, be here. All right, since you are here, be here, man. And what I mean by that is be present. All right, let's be present, man. Let's take something from today. Make no mistake about it. Whoever sent you here, whoever encouraged you to come here, they did it for a reason. If you yourself encouraged, you said, man, I need to get to this conference. I need to make sure that I grow and become a leader, all right, and take some jewels with me that I can have with me the rest of your life. We're going to give you that today, man. All right, we're going to give you that today. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of information, all right? So I want you to be attentive. All right, I want you to be present. Like I said, we're here. Let's be here. Cool. Got a little music going. All right, good. What I want to do, man, is number one, I want to make sure we give thanks to all the folks that had a hand in making this day possible, right? So there's a lot of hands going on, a lot of organizations, a lot of organizers behind the scenes to make this day possible for you guys, man. A lot of leaders in this community, all right, in this city. They made it possible, and they made this a conscious effort because they realized how important it is to make sure that you're here today, man. So give a round of applause for all the great people, right, that made this day possible. Absolutely. We got some folks still filing in. So we want to do that. We want to also make sure there's a lot of volunteers, okay? So you'll see folks in a shirt like this, Create and Inspire, okay? Also, you'll see some volunteers in a gray MBK shirt. These folks are here to help you, man. They're putting in sweat and tears. They're not getting paid to be here, all right, but they're here for you, all right? So give a round of applause, even though they're not in here. They're outside still checking people in. A round of applause for all of our volunteers, all right? By the way, Create and Inspire. What does this mean? Somebody tell me what that means to them. Create and Inspire. You see it on the shirt? Big guy, what you got? Create and Inspire. What you got? You raising your hand? No, not yet. You ain't comfortable yet? Anybody else? Raise your hand. Create and Inspire. Yes, sir. What we got? Create something to inspire somebody else to create something. Good, man. We got prizes. We got some giveaways all day. Let's see what we got in here, man. Let's see what we got in the bag. Check this out. Bang, bang. Yep, come and get this. You can't catch it? All right, come on. Come down here. I ain't got no insurance. There we go. Bang. All right, man. We got some prizes. All throughout the day. Create and Inspire. Create something to inspire others to create something. Anybody else, man? Anybody else got something different? It's okay. No right or wrong answer. Create and Inspire. What does it mean to you? Anybody else? Yes, sir. To make something, say it again. A little louder. Be confident. What you got? To make something to inspire somebody else. Good. Anybody from this side, man? I'll get one more. Yes, sir. To bring something to life that encourages somebody, man. Great. Let's see what we got. See what we got in here, man. I think we got a book or something like that. You like to read? You read? All right, pass that back to my man. Good job. Give it up, man, for these guys that are participating. Listen, man, throughout the day, we're going to ask for your participation. It's okay, man. One of the things that we're going to talk about being leaders, man, is be confident in yourself, all right? It's okay to raise your hand. It's okay to be bold and say what you think and say what you feel. I hope throughout the day, man, one thing that you're going to learn is this is a place, a safe zone, if you will, okay? So throughout the day, man, we're going to have a lot of things going on, workshops and things of that nature. Ask a question. If you don't know, ask a question. That's why we're here. All right, we came here to give you this information, man, so that you can take it with you. But it's okay to ask. It's okay to stand up, raise your hand, say something that's on your mind and that's on your heart. All right, make sense? Everybody make sense? Good? Clap your hand if you can hear me one time. There we go. Let's do it. All right, so what I want to do, man, is I want to also bring up a young guy, man, that is going to share this stage with me and help bring up presenters and kind of be my co-host, because here's the deal. I'm a little bit older than you guys, man. I know I still look good, man. The face is young, right? But I'm a little old, all right? I'm a little old. And so I wanted to bring up some energy, man. I want to bring up a guy that can relate to your guys' generation, and he can floss and do all those things, man. Somebody that you guys can relate to. So we wanted to make sure that we're bringing this generation forth. And I have a young man, who's super duper talented. You guys probably know him. He sings, he raps, he dances, man. He does it all, right? And today, man, he's going to help me lead you guys, man, to the right direction. So please help me welcome, man, the very talented young bull, Mr. Jay Brown. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, you got something for him? What you got?
Hey, what's going down, y'all?
What's happening?
Hey, I need one more time, because I'm going to feed off of y'all's energy as long as y'all feed off of mine, all right? So what's going down, y'all? All right, first of all, thank you, Mr. Antonio. I want to give a thanks to all the people that helped out with this, including you all, because we can't do these things unless you all show up. So I want to thank the MBK Village, the City of Columbus Department of Neighborhoods, Columbus City Council, Mayor Ginther, the Driven Foundation, and Get Creative for giving me the opportunity to speak to y'all. But this isn't just about all of us that are here. This is mainly about giving back to y'all. So I just want to say that I appreciate you guys and that we just going to have fun today. So before we get into like the real like nitty gritty and everything like that, I want to get hyped with all y'all. But before then, we're about to level up and get driven. So basically, like Mr. Antonio was saying, we're going to create, we're going to inspire each other. But also, we're going to have to help each other get to the places that we all want to go in life. So whether that's music, whether that's engineering, we all need to depend on each other. So first of all, we got to break the ice a little bit. We're going to get hype, all right? We're going to all stand up. We're going to have DJ Crate Digger over there on the turntables real quick. We're just going to have a good time, all right?
Give him some. What we got?
Hey, go ahead, stand up. Who going to stand up? I see my brother over here. Hey, who going to get up here? Who gonna get up here?
Big guy, who can dance?
Hey.
Somebody dancing?
Hey.
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 Hey, come on, hey. There we go.
Hey.
Come on, man, get him up here. Let's lead him.
Hey.
Let's lead him, man. Let's lead him.
Hey, little sis back here getting it in.
Come on.
Hey.
Come on. Give him something.
Hey.
Come on. Give him something, baby. Give him something, man. I got some cash for you, baby. I got some cash for you, man. Let's do something. Let's break it down. Hey. Hey. DJ.
Hey.
Oh. Hey. All right. Listen, man, y'all had to let a girl come down here and show us out, man. We try to get y'all hype. But you know what? I know what's gonna get us some energy right here, man. I know what's gonna give us everybody knows some money, right? We get hype off some money. Here we go. I got $10 right here. I got $10. Who want $10? Who want 10? Look, see how y'all do? Everybody want to get hype off of $10. All right, check this. Which president is the face on a $10 bill? Ooh, young boy, what's up? What's happening? You forgot? I know you did. I know you ain't know. You was just playing. What's up, boss? What we got? Alexander Hamilton, give it up, man. Make some noise, my man. $10 cold hard cash. If that don't get us excited, man, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. Hey, listen, man, what I want to do, we got some special guests that we want to bring up. Tell them a little bit about the MBK, man, what that means to you, what these guys should know about it, and then we'll bring up some of the folks, man, that can explain it a little further.
I got you. So MBK basically is based off of a brotherhood. Everybody knows our President Barack Obama, well, former President Barack Obama, right? All right.
Right?
like I said, this is an energy-based thing. I give off energy, you give it back. So we got to depend on each other. So we all know Barack Obama, right? Yeah. All right. So basically, he started this foundation called My Brother's Keeper, and it's basically to keep it was started to keep kids and young adults from 11 to 21 out of the jail system. So basically, this is to help each other learn to grow, to stay off the streets, and to just make sure that we're all doing what we're supposed to do. We all know the African proverb, it takes the village to raise a child, right? We've heard it? Can I get a show of hands? Who's heard it before? All right. So basically, the MBK Village has come together to bring us an exciting conference filled with content and engagement tailored just for us all. So it's not only a brotherhood, but this is also a safe space, like Mr. Antonio said. If you have a feeling that you want to ask a question or you want to say something or that this has impacted you, then don't be afraid to say it, just to raise your hand and say, hey, this is what I thought about this. This is how I feel about something. Because this is what this is about. This is for young African-American males to get your point across, because we all understand we don't really have that opportunity outside of this. So if you have something that you feel like you need to do, then get it done. But first, I'd like to bring up Director Carla Williams-Scott, if she's here.
She's here. Give it up, round of applause. Director Carla Williams-Scott.
Good morning, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Good. I am so glad you guys are all out here with us this morning. I know you could have been anywhere else, maybe at home sleep, right? Maybe at work, but you could have been anywhere else, but you're out here with us this morning, and so we really appreciate that. We have a very impactful day planned for you gentlemen this morning, and I want to make sure that you are present. Be present. Take what knowledge comes from our speakers, from the workshops, take that with you, because I want you to know we're here because we care about our young boys and men of color. And we want to make sure that you have all the tools you need to be successful in life. Our team at the Department of Neighborhoods has spent months planning this conference for you. And so we hope that you get out of it and you're as excited about it as we are and as we have been planning it. You've made significant impact in your future by coming here today. And so please make sure we have a great panel that you'll hear from shortly. We've got workshops that are set up for you, and we have a dynamic speaker that will be here for you this afternoon. So with that, I would also like to bring up and introduce to you Council Member President Pro Tem Michael Stenziano and President and Auditor-elect for Franklin County.
Good morning, gentlemen. OH. Let's try it one more time. OH. I couldn't be more excited for you to be here, and it's my honor to represent Columbus City Council. We've got a very special council president in Shannon Hardin. He worked on the MPK initiative very early on. Unfortunately, he's out in Los Angeles talking about you all, talking about the changes that he wants to make for the city of Columbus, the movement of the MBK Village, and how much we can be doing more. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Council President Hardin, but I know, and I'm sending him text messages of just the energy and the excitement. So thank you all for being here. On behalf of Columbus City Council, we're here for you. You are going to learn a lot of great things today. I couldn't be more supportive of that concept of be present. We know it's early on a Saturday. We know you don't drink coffee yet, so you're still waking up. But this is a great opportunity, not just today, but going forward. This is your city, your ideas, and you can make a true impact for us. So thank you all for being here. I'm now going to introduce a video that's going to have both Mayor Ginther and Council President Shannon Hardin on it. So thank you all.
Good morning and welcome to the MBK Village Youth Conference. I'm Columbus Mayor Andy Ginther. Thank you for investing in your future today by being here. For Columbus to be America's opportunity city, everyone must have opportunities just like this to help them on their own path to success.
Columbus City Council joins Mayor Ginther in welcoming you today. I'm Columbus City Council President Shannon Harden, and I'm proud to live in one of the first communities to stand with President Obama and bring MBK here to Columbus. MBK Village is a clear example of your city commitment to success for all boys and young men of color. Everyone must have the opportunity to become engaged in order to ensure a bright future for themselves, their family, and our community.
Today will be very exciting. The council president and I are disappointed we're not able to join you in person. But you're about to begin navigating your way to success in a digital world. You will have motivational breakout sessions, an engaging panel discussion, and a powerful keynote address from Mickey Johnson. You will also explore college and career options. We hope you leave inspired and will join us again for future MBK Village programming. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Director Carla Williams Scott, man, our Councilman Stenziano, our mayor on the screen here, our council president Shannon Harden. Obviously, man, we have a lot of leaders, again, who care a lot about you, man. And so we've talked about that. There's a lot of folks in the room, obviously, man, some men that have come from various organizations, man, again, to pour into you guys. And so, man, I thank everyone for being here, all right? So we get ready to get started, man. I know we've been sitting for quite some time. We're getting ready to get going, but I wanted to make sure that we have a better understanding of what MBK Village is and what it's all about. Obviously, Jay did a great job of telling us a little bit how it started with President Obama. And then obviously the city of Columbus, man, was one of the first cities to adopt, all right, this model and making sure that we're expanding throughout the city. And of course, other cities around the country are picking up. And we're going to continue to expand, man, as far as education, training, workforce development. Give you guys the tools, man, that you can go and be your best self. Yes, sir. We got a question? MBK, my brother's keeper. Great, great. Let's do it all together, man. MBK, what is that? My brother's keeper. One more time. My brother's keeper. All right, awesome, man. We have a lot of technology components going throughout the day. So what you'll notice, man, as we're talking about leadership, as we're giving you some educational tools, we wanted to talk about technology, right? Because that's changing and shaping the way we operate and engage with each other today, right? How many people are excited about technology? Raise your hand if you are excited about technology, where we're going, iPhones and things. Man, I had like a flip phone back in there. First of all, I had a pager. Anybody guys, you know what a pager is? You know what a beeper is? Man, I had a pager, right? And so now, man, we can communicate face to face. It's crazy. Technology is going all over the place. What you'll notice throughout the day, we'll have a lot of technology components in place, all right? This screen right here, all right, this screen right here, as the panel get ready to introduce them in a second, you'll be able to ask questions throughout the day. So one of the questions you just asked, you can use those hashtags that we mentioned earlier, the level up, the get driven. You can ask a question, use those hashtags, and it'll post up on the screen, which we'll be able to use for our panelists and other questions throughout the day. So if you don't want to raise your hand, you're a little shy, that's one way that we're going to infuse technology in today. All right, make sense? We'll give you some more instructions on that. But who I'm going to bring up now, I want to bring up someone that's going to further just kind of lay the land of today, all right, give us some additional house rules, all right, as we navigate through this building. We're going to respect Africentric in this school. We're going to respect this program and everything we're doing. So I'm going to bring someone up that'll give us a little lay of the land, some house rules, man. He's the program director of Department of Neighborhoods, man, is responsible for this MBK Village and this conference. Help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Joshua Bates. Mike right there.
Good morning. I know you've heard it like 40 times this morning, but I appreciate all of y'all for coming out today. I know many of you, but I want to know all of you because MBK is here for you. It's a resource for our young men in this city to be engaged with what we're doing and to also develop programs and develop resources for all of y'all. So as Antonio said, I'm going to lay some ground rules. We only got 3. The first, as Director Carla Williams Scott said, is to be present. You know, you could be anywhere today. You could be asleep. You could be at McDonald's getting a McGriddle. You could be doing whatever it is, but instead, you're here today. So just be present. And then also with being present comes being engaged. Ask questions. Ask what MBK means. Ask what we can do for you. Ask how you can be more involved. Also follow us on Instagram. That's not a rule, but that's just a suggestion, MBK_village. And finally, I want y'all to have fun. While we always have the opportunity to have conversations, when you do it with levity, when you do it with fun, more things can appear. So have fun today. And like I said, I appreciate everyone for coming out. And now I'm going to pass it back to Antonio.
There we go. There we go. I'm up. Good. Thank you.
It's good to see all of y'all.
He had 3 simple rules, right? 3 simple rules. What was number 1? Be present. What was number 2? Ask questions, engage. And what was number 3? Have fun, man. Have fun. All right, listen, man. We got one more person to bring up that's going to have a very important role in how we navigate today, man. All right, so what we want to do, Jay's going to bring them up. We want to actually start this off the right way, have a unity prayer, man. Come together. We're going to do that, and then we're going to get right into the panel. All right, we're going to start to have some real fun. So, Jay, take it away, man. Introduce who we got next, and then we're going to get this thing going.
I just want to start off by saying it's just really amazing to see how our city affects us, not only as people, but just as us growing up as individuals, to see that we have support behind us. So just seeing the mayor saying that he wanted to see what we become and how he said that he wanted to be here. That's kind of inspiring to know that you have somebody who has power over the city that impacts you alone. And so now I want to welcome someone near and dear to my heart. He's like a brother to me, more like an uncle. But let's welcome Carnell Willoughby to lead us in the unity prayer.
Give it up for your host, y'all. And give it up for the MBK family. So there's a roving theme about being present. And as often as, as much as you would rather be in bed, I would love to be in bed right now. We have something to take out of this day. So make sure that we're present. Make sure that we're here. This unity prayer that I'm doing is called the Ubuntu prayer. Ubuntu, in its stripped down version or definition, is humanity. No diss to technology, but sometimes it takes away from humanity. So right now we have to get closer to each other and get closer to humanity. So I have one request or one ask, is this: whoever you're next to while you're doing this prayer, please touch them. And if you're not close enough to anyone, raise your hand towards them, if you can be so kind. That is my only ask and request. Is everybody all right? If you're all right, let me hear you say, all right. That wasn't enough energy. All right, so when I say BK, when I say MB, y'all say K. MB, K. MB, K. MB. K. I was going to keep saying it until you said it. When I say MB, y'all say K. MB, K. MB, K. MB, K. MB. Thank you. Is that Kareem? What's up, man? All right, so it is very, very simple. It's a call and response. Call and response goes way back into iniquity, which is way, way, way far back. And all you have to do is repeat after me. Are y'all ready? If you're ready, you may say ready? Ready. Perfect. I am because you are.
I am because you are.
You are because I am.
You are because I am.
When I fell, you fell.
When I fail, you fail.
And when you fell, I fell. When I thrive, you thrive. And when you thrive, I thrive. I recognize the God in you. And I hope you recognize the God in me. If you are present right now, you are the ancestors' wildest dream. I am because you are. You are because I am. I love you because I am you. I love you because I am you. I love you because I am you. Thank you.
Give it up one more time, man, for that unity prayer, man. One thing, man, I want to encourage us, man, as young men, as leaders. When we talk about unity, we talk about togetherness. And as we talked about, man, you are, I am, I lift you up, we lift each other up. And a part of that, man, is about being accountable, taking responsibility, not only for ourselves, but the people next to you. And so, you know, we talked about this, and I'm gonna get on a little horse real quick, and then I'm gonna jump off, but being present. And so we got a lot of guys in here that are present and paying attention, and we got some guys in here that's like, man, you know what, I'm gonna just lay down. You know what, man, I'm gonna just put my head down. And there's some guys in the front row, man, that I can't understand why they're approaching this conference this way. And so we need to be accountable to each other. We need to be accountable to ourselves, and we got to take responsibility for our own actions, man. And that's real talk. That's real talk. Because as I talk about, man, these guys, these people in here, these leaders, they're taking their time out for you. So it may seem cool and whatever, it's fun and games, man, but this is serious. This is serious. Because our people that are outside of these walls, maybe our family members, some people that we know that's locked up, some people that we know that's doing negative, they're not here. They're not in this room. They're not in these walls. They're not here. These people that are here taking the time to deliver a unity prayer, taking time to sit in these seats, taking time to drive you guys here, taking time to share this stage, taking time to present to you, you guys got to respect that and be accountable to that, man. And that's real talk. I'm going to jump off, man, and I want to get this thing really going, man. We're going to have, like I said, a lot of fun. I know that was a little serious moment, and I'm not going to apologize for that because that's the truth. But we're going to have some fun, man, and it's time to get going. We're going to bring up a panel, man, and these guys, as we talked about technology, man, and where we're going, where this world is headed, the opportunities, man, that we can take from today and be able to use right away to start earning some of those Hamiltons and some of those Franklins and some of the money that we can put in our pocket, some of the things that we can start doing, man, to create our future. We're going to bring up a talented panel to describe and discuss and engage with you guys on some of the things, man, that we can walk away with today. So we're going to do that. What I want to do is I want to bring up the young lady who's going to lead us in that, all right? And she's obviously an innovator, okay? She's one of the smartest people that I've got a chance to know really quickly, okay? She is the managing partner, I believe, from Perscalis. Correct me if I get that incorrect. But she can tell a little bit more about herself and who we have on the panel. But I want you to give your full attention and full welcome to our moderator of the panel, Ms. Toni Cunningham.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is so good to be here with you this morning. I'm going to have to put this microphone on because they're filming us today. So if you didn't know, you guys, you're going to be on camera, and the city of Columbus is going to roll tape on us over and over again. So what we want to do is look our best, right? So that's another reason to sit up and be engaged. But I'm happy to be here this morning. As Antonio said, I serve as the managing director for an organization called Perscalis. And Perscalis is an IT training provider who does training, help you get certifications, and then help you land an IT job, which launches a career. And I will tell you, young brothers, that I have some young men fresh out of high school making $19 and $20 an hour on their first job in technology. So that's why you need to pay attention to what we're going to talk about this morning, okay? And that's without college. So imagine what they could do with college. So with that, I want to bring up our panel, and we're all going to get mic'd up together. So first, I want to introduce to you Mr. Will Burris. Will is an innovator with a new company called Immersive Is. And when you hear from this dynamic brother about some of the amazing things that he's doing, you're going to be excited. Next, I want to introduce Mr. Jerry Page. Jerry talks about your brand and being on social media and digital marketing, and he does it for a Fortune 500 company. Next, I want to introduce Mr. Kelly James. Y'all got to give Kelly a minute because he was being a superstar on some of his products up here and hurt his leg. But it's all good because he's going to show us the innovative things that he's created for us to have fun with technology. I love it. Okay, so we're going to get mic'd up. I don't think Daniel is here. I'm looking. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to get mic'd up and get this conversation started. So give us just a second. Awesome. So can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Wonderful. So as we get started with our all-star panel today, what I'd love to do is first have you all, we do something in Perscolas that we call our 60-second pitch. And we only have 60 seconds, the amount of time that you ride an elevator with someone, to give someone a snapshot of who we are and what we do. And so we're going to do a round robin. I did mine already. So we're going to do a round robin from you all around real quick who you are, what you do, and why you're here, and then we'll get into our discussion questions. And as well, audience, I need you to be thinking about questions that you would have for them, because I don't know when we'll get these superstars all back together again, so please be thinking about questions that you'll want to ask them as well. So, we'll start with you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Will Burris. I'm the founder and CEO of ImmersiveIs. We are a augmented reality, virtual reality, and 360 content creation studio right here in sunny Columbus, Ohio. Been around for about a year and a half. Been in technology for 20 years. This is the future, so I'm excited to share that with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. Jerry?
Morning, fellas. Morning, fellas. Jerry Page, communications lead over at NiSource, focusing on reputation management and social media. Prior to that, I worked at Ohio Health and JP Morgan Chase, along with the American Red Cross. Again, primary focus has been social media, digital marketing, reputation management. And I'm also very happy to be here with you guys today. I'm a local of Columbus, Eastmoor Academy graduate. I feel like I can probably relate to a lot of you guys, so very happy to be here with you today.
Awesome. Kelly.
Hi there. My name is Kelly. Before I tell you about my company, I'm a product of Columbus Public Schools, Head Start. I started the first e-writable company called Electric Ave, some of the items you see up here, and I couldn't be more happy to be here in front of you guys.
Thank you. So we have a ton of Columbus City School grads up here. I'm South High School. I won't tell y'all the year. Is Bulldogs out here? All right. Woo-hoo. All right. So we're going to get started. And I want to, given the nature of our audience and what's happening with technology, I want to ask you all, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently to be able to show up in this world of technology? What would you have done differently? And maybe before you answer that, I should describe technology. Technology is a huge industry that touches all of our lives, right? Everything we do, from going to the doctor, from going to school, your records, everything is about technology now. And if you don't have digital skills, it's going to be really hard eventually to even work in fast food, you guys. Everything is going to technology. So knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently as your younger self around getting involved in tech?
I'll start.
Take it away.
What I would have done differently, instead of being an end user of these products, I would have learned how to develop them. I think most of us with our phones, we're just end users. I want to know how these things operate, you know, the logistics on how they're created, the design concepts. That's what I would have done differently.
Agreed.
I'll follow that up. So early on, I think I was in college when Facebook sort of came out. This is after MySpace. A lot of you guys probably haven't even heard of MySpace, but MySpace is one of the digital / social media pioneers. So early on when I was in college, it was just college students, a couple other folks. And I thought it would have been cool if businesses could have been on social media. And I started to think through, you know, what could businesses, how could they possibly use all of these platforms? How could they use the digital space to further whatever their goals are or their businesses? But I did not have the confidence to actually dive deeper into it and try to figure out how to make something like that work. So you have these dreams, you have these goals, you have these ideas, but there are times when you don't have the self-confidence to go out and approach those at a young age. So I would have tried to just build more confidence and figured out a way to try to make something work and realize that social media, online will be fruitful in the future. How can I how can I be a part of that? How can I use that to further my interests? How can I use that to further the interests of businesses, people in our community as well? So just having confidence, realizing that again, we're all smart, we're all intelligent, we have great ideas. It's not about the ideas, it's about having the confidence to go out and execute those ideas.
Right.
Excellent. I have officially been in technology 20 years this year. When I started out was in the 90s, and I fell into it, right? I was coming out of the music business. I didn't have a degree. I didn't really know what I was going to do. And Microsoft had this program where, similar to Perscalis actually, where I could go in and just kind of boot camp my way into the world. So I took it serious. I was present and was able to turn that into an awesome career in technology. So I don't know that I would do anything different other than maybe try to get started earlier. and I would definitely parrot what both of these fellows are saying here. Get on the other side, figure out how to do this stuff, because this is the currency of this world right now, and the door is still wide open to get in here and do your thing.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%. I want to go back to something that Jerry brought up about confidence. And I think that we're challenged on all sides, even as adults, around confidence. So you have these ideas and these hopes and these dreams, and then you're really kind of insecure about who you share it with and what you should do about it. But then I look on social media and other places and I see teenagers that are millionaires now. So tell me a little bit about the confidence and how you build it to be able to put your ideas out there and try to figure this thing out. Because that whole thing about teenagers being millionaires, and I'm still struggling with that. So tell me a little bit about that whole confidence piece and what you guys did to build your confidence.
I'll kick that one off, actually. That's really easy. Don't be afraid of failure, right? Embrace it. Fail as many times as you possibly can. We like to say fail fast, right? It took 10,000 light bulbs to get to this electricity right here. If he would have gave up the first time, we might be sitting in the dark right now. So get comfortable with that. Get comfortable with people telling you no, right? Don't take that personally, you know what I mean? You just treat it like a math problem, and you just keep, asking the same question until you find the people that say yes. And you'd be amazed that once you get comfortable with those two things, how far you can get in this world.
Awesome.
And to just follow that up, don't necessarily look at when you make a mistake or when things don't, turn out as planned as absolute failure. Look at it as a lesson. I've had so many instances where I've tried something, or where I've tried to get into this field or that field, or maybe I've taken a misstep, what others might consider a failure, but everything I've gone through professionally, whether it's at a college level or, again, as a modern day professional, I've taken lessons from it and used it to further my own personal goals. So, again, look for lessons in everything you do, whether that's a positive event or what some might consider a failure.
And to follow that up, with me, this idea that I'm sitting up here with now is 15 years in the making. When I first wanted to do this, I was going to start a company called Kelly's Green Cycling. It was kind of a play on words because my name is Kelly, green, and the bikes were made of bamboo. And right around the time I was going to do it, Kogo launched, which is the bike share that Columbus uses right now. And I was thinking, wow, do I have what it takes to make this thing grow? And I let fear stop me from doing it then. And when I had the time to do it again, I took advantage of it. So, yeah. Don't let fear stop you from chasing your dreams.
I love it. And so to follow that, can you share with us the items that are on the stage and kind of your creativeness around that?
Okay. So I'm going to start with this cool thing right here. This was born out of necessity. Have any of you guys ever seen this? One of these? All right, it's called a one wheel. And the guy that developed it loved to surf, snowboard. So he said, how can I snowboard all year? So what he did was, he and his team developed this thing called a gyro sensor. So what that does in real time, When you're riding this thing, it's always balancing. It's making self-corrections. So to make it go, they put a motor in the rear hub. This is a go-kart wheel, so it can go up to speeds of 100 miles an hour. This won't. This will go about 22 miles an hour. This is actually how I hurt my knee. I was doing some stunts for my YouTube channel, and I was going uphill, and the board is always trying to self-balance itself. So even as I'm going uphill, I leaned too far forward, caused the board to wash out, tried to catch my balance, third step, planted, tore my patella tendon. But, you know, a lot of people look at that as like a tragedy. But as I was sitting in my house, recuperating, I said, you know, and I was doing some work for Yamaha. So Yamaha was flying, this was about 3 or 4 years ago. They were flying me all over the country. I was in California. I was seeing all these cool devices. And I said, you know, my old bicycle concept, no one's doing that anywhere in the country. You know, they have bike shares, but they're all just manual bikes. So I contacted a company in California. They didn't want to work with me. I didn't get discouraged though. I said, you know what? I'm going to make this work. So I did my due diligence. I did my research. I found a company out of Singapore, all the way over there. We built this great relationship. They manufacture these awesome bikes. They call it a Buzzraw. I call it an R250. It's got a 250 motor. It has what they call pedal assist. So when you're riding this thing, it literally feels like you're floating on air. And so that was the birth of this company that I call Electric Ave. And in 1 year, I've had investors come aboard. Now I've got a team. We're going to launch 300 new bikes for 2019 for all of you that are 18 and over, to be able to use these in the same way that you use Bird and Lime. So we only sell this now. We don't rent these, but you'll be able to rent the bikes by the school. We also have electric skateboards, which are really cool. I don't know how many of you guys love to skate around like Lil Wayne, but they're pretty cool. So later on today, I'll show you guys how some of this stuff works.
And that was born because a young man loved surfing.
And
he wanted to be able to surf all year round.
And so, so he wanted to surf all year round, and he created this board. So it was born out of necessity. So whatever your passions are, there's an outlet for you to express them and create them and bring them to life, just like this guy did.
Awesome. And I want to kick it over to you, Will, really quickly, because Will has a really cool company. How many of you have heard of virtual reality? Awesome. And augmented reality? So this gentleman right here has an amazing company right here in Columbus where he creates virtual reality experiences in augmented reality. And I'm going to tell you, that first time putting that headset on and being transported to another world is pretty amazing. So tell us some of the cool things that you're doing with virtual reality and augmented reality.
Absolutely, yeah. So I believe that virtual reality and augmented reality within the next few years are going to replace your cell phones, and they're going to replace social media completely, right? And we're all going to live, as you guys grow, in alternate universes. You'll be able to sit in your living room and go wherever you want to go and be with whomever you want to be with. What really struck me about this particular technology was the fact that I figured out that I could put people in other people's shoes and let them see what it feels like to be you for a day. And that, to me, is a powerful way to change the conversation, right? So it's funny that the mantra here is level up, because that's very literally how we think where we are. Our mantra is change perspectives, change the world. So some of the things that we've done, we built a roofing sales simulator where we can show you what it's like to be a roofer by taking you and putting you on the roof of a house. You feel every bit of that while you're standing up there. We built an epilepsy seizure simulator to show people what it feels like to have a seizure. An opioid detox simulator to help people understand what people who are hooked on opioids are going through. And then on the fun side, I did a really cool hockey recruiting video for Ohio State University to let you see what it feels like to be a hockey player. I'm working with Columbus Police Department right now on a number of initiatives, the fire department, all kind of stuff. You know, the beauty of this technology, again, is that we can switch positions, you know. And it's kind of cool, too, to go in and literally be inside of a video game all day long. Shooting at aliens and all that other good stuff too. So it's a nice little perk of the job.
It is. It's awesome. It's awesome. And so all of this with you all starting companies and moving about in this world, there's an impact to your brand and building a brand. And I want to talk to Jerry a little bit about what it means. And does anybody know what we mean when we say your brand? And if you don't, it's okay because we can clear that up. Yes, what do you think it means when we say your brand? Speak really loud and use your outside voice.
Your own personal thing, like say how Jordan has his own personal shoes.
Right, so your own personal theme. And what happens is when you put that out on social media, it lives on forever. Forever, positive or negative. And I've seen people lose jobs because of what they put on social media. I've seen people get jobs because of what they put on social media. So Jerry, can you tell us a little bit about managing your digital footprint and your digital brand and what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So before I jump into that, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions just to throw it off of you. How many of you guys currently use Google? Facebook? Yeah, that's about right. Twitter? Instagram? Okay. So what all of you guys are doing currently is you're building your own digital footprint. So look at your location history, what you're searching, your interests, where you want to see yourself in the future. People can find out all of this information through your digital footprint, AKA your brand. So think about it like this. What's the first thing you do when you meet somebody you're interested in or you might be attracted to or have a little bit of a crush on, right? You go and look at their social media profiles, right? You go on their Instagram page, you go on their Twitter feed to find out more about them or to see what they're interested in or see what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. So the same thing you're doing when you're looking at other people's social media profiles or pages, colleges, employers, they're also doing that to you when you're applying to those ventures. So to make a long story short, everything you do is being monitored by other channels, whether your information is being cached or whether you're applying for a job or interested in applying for college scholarships. Everything you do on your social media profiles is being monitored. So you might think, well, my channels are locked, my profiles are locked. I promise you, your profiles are not as locked as you think they are. I've seen people get fired from their jobs. I've seen people in the process of getting offers lose jobs because of what they posted on their social media channels, because at the end of the day, those are representative of who you are as a person to these companies. And before they want to take a chance on you, again, whether it's colleges, if you're an athlete, if you're looking for a job, before any of these industries want to take a chance on you, they want to have a better idea or feel for who you are as a person. So before you post on your social media channels, I know it's cool and it might be fun and it's okay to have a good time and to engage with other people on your social media channels. But the thing I always do and I encourage, especially people in this age group to do, is to think about how this will impact your brand and how other people who don't know you as well will view you based on what you're posting on your social media channels. How will what you post when you're 15 impact you when you're 18? And it doesn't go away as quickly as you think it does. There's always somebody on your page that's willing to help out a company, or there's many ways for a company to follow you and you have no idea about it. So just be very cautious about what you post on your pages. Consider how this one tweet or this one post, not just how your mom will think about it, or how your dad will think about it, think about how this will impact your future, and then make the right decision when it comes to posting on your social media channels, and consider how that will impact your brand moving forward. It's not just today, it's 5 years, it's 10 years from now.
Good advice. So I want to hear from you all. What questions do you have for this panel related to anything, whether it's about the future, careers, personal? What questions do you have for the panel? Yes?
They are not for sale, but they retail around $25.
So you can rent them, you'll be able to rent them, but not necessarily purchase them.
With a QR.
Just like you do scooters?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Yes, sir.
Are you happy to be in the position you are, and was it hard getting?
I'm very happy, and it was very difficult. It was really challenging because before I started Electric Ave, I currently own a security company, and it's called iSecurity, and it was a long process. I was tired of working for people, being micromanaged, and so I started this company, and it really gave me the confidence when I was ready to do this, to go for it. And I couldn't be happier with where I am now. And I couldn't be happier sitting out here in front of you guys, because my daughter is an alumni of Afrocentric. And when I see you guys, I see myself. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm a product of Columbus Public Schools. I'm a product of Head Start. And I'm a firm believer, to be truly empathetic and caring in this world, you have to be able to see yourself in others. So when I look at you, I see myself, I see my son, I see my cousins, my uncle. So when I approach you, I'm going to treat you as if you're me. So.
That's awesome. What other questions? I saw a question over here. Say it loud, and then I'm going to restate it.
When y'all invented the technology, were you thinking of the generation, or like, would you ever think of how your invention would impact the future generation and it would change?
So the question was, when they invented their technology, were they thinking of the generation, the current generation or future generations, and how this technology would impact them?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I'll share this thought with you. I actually was working at an advertising firm. I was a chief technology officer there when Facebook became a platform. At the point when it became a platform was the point when we got this modern version of Facebook that we have right now. And I remember thinking, that was real early for Facebook, Twitter, all of those, this current generation of social media, that once this, advertisers, us, get into it, the whole thing's going to change. And I've watched it become kind of this, this vehicle for creating a lot of narcissism and a lot of apathy amongst all of us, where we can get behind this screen and talk a bunch of smack to one another, and not really be empathetic to how other people are feeling. Now, I'm a technologist. I've been in it for 20 years. I've done AI, I've done blockchain, IoT, all of it. And I'm telling you, the first time that I got into VR, I realized that the level of impact that this was going to have on you guys was going to be exponentially larger, right? I had a team, and I told them, I was nerding out. I told them, hey, this thing is the future. And they said, what are the horror games like? I said, you don't want to mess with these horror games because this stuff is real, right? So one of my guys went home, he got into one of them, I think it was Resident Evil on PlayStation or something, and was running through this thing, and a zombie came out and chopped his arm off. And he freaked out because he really thought his arm got chopped off. That's how real virtual reality is. For me, that was the realization that this is going to desensitize in different ways, right? This is going to become an addiction in different ways. So we have to be mindful of that. So I think about that every day with the experiences that we build. I talk about it a lot because this is the world that you guys are going to be entering into. But if we do good with it, it is 50% more effective for managing pain. I think it's going to make opioids go away. I think we can fix autism and a lot of the big problems that we have with the power that this has on the brain. So, short answer is absolutely. Think about it every day. Yeah.
And then think about, too, how VR, you can be in California or watching, you can literally attend an NBA game now. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but you can sit at an NBA game in Los Angeles from your living room now. So how VR is impacting athletics, how it's impacting education. I know my previous employer, Ohio Health, we were in the business of using VR to actually train people who were going to be in emergency rooms. So they would use VR to experience the situations before they actually had a real life situation, which has improved care just incredibly. So I know VR is actually playing a big role in the development of social media too. So I'm really keen on seeing how VR impacts digital, social, athletics, and all these other industries moving forward.
What about technology in the future of transportation?
I think what these brothers are doing is great.
It is.
I definitely thought of you guys when we started this because I know most of you guys have probably ridden those Razor scooters when you were kids. I know everyone knows how to ride a bike. Who has seen Lime's yellow and green bikes all over town? Would you ride that? Right. We knew this design is based off a 70s, it was called a pit bike, and they were built so well that we knew that these bikes were going to get heavy usage from the community. And they were retro and they were cool looking, and we know that you Gen Zs and millennials love to look cool, be seen. And so that was a huge part of the why we chose this design, because we know that as cities grow, I don't know if most people know this, that But the suburbs were, kind of created because of, not just because of white flight, but because of too much traffic in cities, too dense a population. And now that cities are trying to revitalize themselves, the cities are becoming really dense. And what's the worst part of most people's day? It's their commute to and from work. I know if you guys are on the school bus, you hate it. It has to stop. You got all that traffic. We're trying to eliminate that with this technology, with rideables. There's going to be ride shares from cars. Columbus was the first smart city in the country. They got the Smart City Grant to create the first smart city with, transportation as far as cars, scooters, bicycles. I even think they're doing a road rail here in town as well. So we know that as cities get more dense, the commute to work is going to be terrible. So we want people to be able to get to that last mile, to get to people that live in lower income communities that don't have access to the same transportation as some of the wealthier areas in the community, have access to stuff like this so you guys can come to work, come to the city, and experience in a way that you won't be able to in a car. So.
Love it. What other questions? Yes, sir. I can't hear you. Say it. Is it what? Was it hard? Was it hard to make the bike?
I didn't make it, no. So, but you could. Let me tell you, if you have a concept of anything you want, you can do it. This cell phone holds all the information that you will ever need. You can ask your cell phone any question, and you can get an answer. You just have to do the research. There's a gentleman that I'm meeting with in 2 weeks who designs bikes. He literally sketched it on a piece of paper, went to China, and they designed this bike for him. Now he's making a fleet of bikes and has his own company. So yeah, it's as difficult as you want to make it, but all the information is out there for you to create it.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Did y'all ever believe that when y'all were younger, that this was going to come out, like this type of technology?
Yes. When you were younger, did you believe that this was going to happen? What was that like in terms of trying to imagine the future?
Yeah, for me it was, I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. And I jokingly, I talk in movie quotes when I'm around the office because it's the best way that I have as a frame of reference for a lot of the stuff that we're doing. So yeah, absolutely. If you watch sci-fi movies, pretty much what you're seeing in those movies, you're going to see in reality inside of 10 years, likely. I have a holodeck. I have 2 of them in my office right now. I tell people when they get into virtual reality that I'm giving them the red pill.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself.
It kind of feels like it
Matrix
too.
heads out. Ready Player One? Was that the?
You transported me to a ghost town.
Yeah.
It was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys seen Back to the Future?
Back to the Future, yeah.
That, as a kid, that was my dream. And so this is my Back to the Future come true. This is my version of the hoverboard. Yeah.
That's cool. There was a question in the front, too.
How long did it take you guys to make the electronic bike and the augmented reality?
How long did it take to make the different technologies, the augmented reality and the electric bike?
So, when I put in a request to have a bike manufactured and made, the process is about 60 days to make the frame, mount the batteries and all the components that come with it, and then there's a process to have it shipped here from Singapore. So about 60 days.
But how long did you work on the prototype?
Well, for me, the prototype was already created.
Okay.
What I did was I took advantage of someone else's idea. I utilized someone else's idea, and that's what you can do. Just because you don't develop or create it doesn't mean you can't create a space for it in the market, and that's what I did. I knew that no one else, like I said earlier, was doing a rideable share, an e-bike share anywhere in the country. And so next year, I'll be competing against companies like Lime and Uber. Uber bought a company called Jump Bikes, and Uber is going to launch their bikes next year in Ohio. So I know that we feel like we have a product that the community is going to love, and we have a business concept that
that really unites the community in a way that those other companies won't. So.
Well, even if you look at Uber and Lyft, they're the children of taxi cab organizations. So it's not always about creating new technology or trying to come up with a new idea. Sometimes it's just about enhancing something or a product that you currently use.
What about you, Will?
Yeah, to develop augmented reality or virtual reality is really not much different than building apps or websites, things of that nature. It's just a different tech stack. So, we've built them in as little as a couple days. Augmented reality is pretty straightforward. Once you know the tools, you can crank this stuff out. Virtual reality takes a little bit longer because it's kind of like a hybrid of building an app and writing a movie, right? Because you have to kind of script the scenes and then know what type of interaction you're going to have in every environment that you're in. So you're looking around 2 weeks to 2 months. Just to piggyback off of what Jerry and Kelly were saying, I used to talk about the distinction between inventors and entrepreneurs, right? You can, and we need each other, actually. An entrepreneur, right, which is something I think that we all kind of innately have in us, to be frankly honest with you, can spot an opportunity. You don't necessarily have to build it, right? But you can spot an opportunity and be able to think through, there's a hole in the market for this thing right now. I know how I could get this out there. I know how I could make this shine. And most people, that's how they're getting on. Then you have your inventors, right? An inventor is going to sit back and think about, what can I do? What can I make, right? And then, source the tools and actually make that vision come to life, right? And then find the entrepreneur who's going to help get that out there. So just wanted to draw that distinction. Those are two valuable roles, especially in technology. You kind of need a little bit of both of that, You need people that are going to create and then the people that are going to get it out there.
That's awesome. So, yes, sir. I'm going to take, yes. So let me repeat the question so the people over here can hear. So the question was, do you think that virtual reality will ever go too far? And his example was the video games where they're making the suits where you can actually feel the pain of if you're being shot at or something like that. So that's the question.
Yeah, it's a great question. Those suits are called haptic suits. And you can actually feel a lot of things with those. Do I think it'll go too far? I think that people will do with it. There are people that will use it for good and people that will use it for bad, right? It's kind of like guns, right? Where you say, the gun isn't, it's the people behind the gun, right? It's the same thing with virtual reality. We'll be able to do incredible good with it, right? And there will be people that use it maliciously. So just real quick as an example, we talk about Call of Duty and the haptic suit, right? And this idea that I can be in there and I'm playing a game, right? But when I'm getting shot, I'm feeling it, right? What that's also doing is if you decided to go have a career in the military, right? That could actually help you because now it's kind of desensitizing you to what that feels like. So if you're out in the field and you're thinking about how to execute a strategy and you do get shot, you might not react in the same way. You might react a little smarter because you already know what that feels like. You know what I mean? So it's really in how you're leveraging the tool. Yeah.
There was a question up front here.
Actually, I have two for you.
Okay.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, your businesses comes down to profit. Yes, you're not making money at the end of the day somewhere along the line. Your businesses will go under. What's the most amount of money you've ever made for the year?
The question is, what's the most amount of money you've made in profit in a year doing what you do with technology?
Doing what I've done with technology, I would say probably $350,000 by myself. That's kind of my average right now. This company that I'm at right now is not profitable and probably won't be for as long as I can keep it not profitable. So I don't have to pay a ton of taxes.
Strategy.
Question, by the way, how do you keep humble off your back?
Yeah.
I'm going to share an interesting strategy with you. So I realized a long time ago that I would much rather go find my next check than have somebody take my check away from me, right? So I went out and I do my own thing. With that comes another realization. I would rather pay my taxes than get a tax return, right? Because the government's never going to give me back the amount of money that I put into it. So I actually pull my cash and I pay my taxes quarterly, half year, sometimes at the end of the year. I tell them, you tell me exactly how much I owe you, and I'm not giving you a penny more, right? And that's how I deal with my taxes. Don't be afraid of the tax people, right? You can deal with that. It's
Just got to
easy.
make it work for you.
That's it.
What about you and the work that you've done?
To your question, in our first year, we just broke even, but like I said in the beginning of this panel discussion, now we have investors and then we've grown exponentially. So our projections for 2019 alone are over $3 million.
$3 million. So I want to wrap this up, but I want to ask a question because, again, I started this off by talking about Perscolas and what we do. So we train individuals, we take them through skill-based training, we coach them, we support them, and then we help them land their first IT job. And I want to get back to basics for these young men because before we can get to where you are, we have to kind of start at the beginning, right? And so what advice would you have for young people who are trying to figure out what do I want to actually do with my future and my life? And if it's in technology, where do I start? And we'll do this really quickly because they're giving me the wrap-up sign.
I'll start real quick.
Okay.
Be flexible. So 15, 20 years ago when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I thought I wanted to work in newspapers / sports writing. Little did I know at the time, those were dying industries to a certain extent. So I learned to be flexible and to take opportunities when they presented themselves to me. So just take time to figure out what you like, what you don't like, be open and be flexible to opportunities and career paths that you might not have considered when you start out on your journey. So especially for you guys that are interested in going to college or a little bit later in your high school careers and thinking about what's next for you after you graduate from high school, just be flexible. Something might present itself that you never even considered before. So don't be too rigid. Don't put off opportunities that might, take you on a path that you never expected. Be very flexible and open to hearing from people and opportunities that present itself to you.
Awesome. Either one? Yeah.
Okay. I would say find your passion. I didn't know what I wanted to do for years. I mean, I was back and forth through jobs, trying to chase my career, but find your passion. And it's going to change. I mean, you guys are teenagers now. How you see the world now is going to be different in 10 years how you see it. But if you find your passion and don't be afraid to fail and chase your dreams, they will come. I mean, and I just want to say this really quick. When I started this business, I had a motorcycle, very rare motorcycle that I had bought from Yamaha. And don't be attached to material things. I sold this thing to invest in my dream. And that's why I'm sitting up here in front of you guys.
Awesome. What about you?
I would say, especially if you want to get into technology, right, the barrier is low. It is all about how bad do you want it, right? I would say get into virtual reality, to be frankly honest with you. And here's why. When I got into technology 20 years ago, there was a shift that was going on, and this shift happens often. What was happening is we were going from mainframe computing into what's called distributed computing, which is the type of PCs that you have out right now. Whenever that shift happens, the schools can't keep up with that, right? They can't shift gears fast enough. So a lot of these product companies will create some kind of certification that you can go get, right? And then usually the companies have caught up before the schools have, so they'll pay you a ton of money, right? If you just come in and say, yeah, I know how to do that, right? I built an entire career off of that, right? And that's happening again, times 4. Right? You have blockchain, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, which is not an easy thing to get into, and virtual reality. Right now, I'm going to share the blueprint with you, okay? Some of you are going to do this and you're going to make $100,000 in the next 3 years, mark my words, right? There's a tool out there called Unity, all right? It's a free open source game development engine, right? That you can download right now and you can start learning how to build. Go to YouTube, pull up some videos, teach yourself how to build these things. Yeah.
Also something you may be familiar with called Code Academy, which is also a free thing online where you can learn how to write code. All computer technology is code-driven. So.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But with this particular Unity certification, take it. It's $800, right? We can definitely find somebody to sponsor that. Once you get it, right, there's a pool of companies out there that are going to be looking for you because there's not enough people that know how to build this stuff, and it is the future, right? So there's the blueprint right there.
I hope you heard it. I hope somebody wrote it down. He said $100,000 in 3 years. I know I would love to do that. And so hopefully you all too. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up our panel. But we want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming and dropping wisdom and sharing your knowledge. Thank you to the village and the village elders for giving us the opportunity to share with you all today. We'll be around kind of a little bit throughout the day, so if you have questions, you can always ask us one-on-one, but I thank you all for your time and your attention in the panel. Have a great rest of the day.
Give it up one more time for panel discussion. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We have a very special guest, with us today, man, coming all the way from Atlanta, Georgia to be with us, man. So as I talk about the leaders that we have, not only here in this city, man, but we got people that care about us from across the country, right? They don't even know us, right? But they care about us, man, to come here to be with us, man, on this special day. So we have a gentleman, man, that has come all the way here, man, to share with us. I told you I played at Ohio State, so I played football as a defensive back. I went on and played a few years in the NFL. But the gentleman, man, that I'm bringing up, he also played collegiate ball, played at the University of Tennessee, and he'll share his story and testimony. But he was involved in an incident which didn't allow him to go to this next level, all right? Very talented person on the field and off the field, but you know, his dreams of getting to that next level was capped by an injury, all right? And he'll share his own testimony and his own story, man. But I just want to make sure that you guys understand the power and the importance, man, that we've been pouring into you all day, the workshop, the presenters, the leaders. And again, this guy comes all the way from across the country to share with you, man. One of the top motivational speakers in the world, all right? So you guys heard from some great ones in your workshop. Of course, I've been up here. You've been hearing a lot from me, man. But this guy, he's one of the best to do it. Travels all across the country, all across the globe, empowering, inspiring, encouraging folks like yourself, young people, all the way up to Fortune 500 companies, man, right? So we're about to get some jewels dropped on us, man. We're about to get some jewels dropped on us. So I know we had a great lunch, all right, but I need everybody to stay woke. All right, you're going to have to stay awake for this one, man. Stay awake because you're not going to want to miss any parts, any second of this, man. So without further ado, man, I want to bring up our special guest, the man of the hour, man. Again, coming all the way from across the country to deliver a special message to us. All right, a sense of, again, knowing who we are, understanding our self-worth, being confident in ourselves, man, and there's no better person to do it than my good man, Mr. Inky Johnson!
Born to a mother at 16 years old, to a two-bedroom home. Used to sleep on the floor. Age of 7 years old, you discovered your dream. You wanted to become an NFL player. You used to get up with your father on Saturday mornings at 5:30 and used to run miles and miles. The first game of your sophomore season, you tore the ligaments, was out for your junior year. You broke your clavicle the first game. Out for the season. College scouts would come in to see you and they would say, man, you are extremely talented. We just don't know if you're going to make it out of high school, let alone college. He said, son, there is no way that you will make it. Coach Philip Foreman from the University of Tennessee came into Crim High School. I want to offer you a scholarship to go to the University of Tennessee. You said, Coach, I'm coming. The reporter was making a beeline to Johnson. Do you even think you're going to play at the University of Tennessee? I'm going to start at the University of Tennessee. You played a little bit your freshman sophomore season came. You broke the starting line. You got as strong as you had ever been. More of a student of the game. You got the bench press 315 pounds. You call your grandmother, you call your mother. You say, after this year, our lives are about to change forever. Second game, you guys are playing against Air Force. You guys found yourselves in the dog fight. Fourth quarter, Air Force had just went down. Onside kicked the ball and dropped. Air Force recovered. Guys broke the huddle. You call quarters come. Running back slips out of the backfield. Now he's coming down your side. Quarterback released the ball to the running back. Running back catches it.
Got the pass caught.
Stop. I'm standing between you and the rest of your life. Where do your strength come from? Where do your drive come from? Where do your motivation come from? Where do your perseverance come from? Everything that you've ever been through, everything that you've ever faced, You've had the ability to overcome. You've had the ability to persevere. Everybody that ever made a sacrifice for you in your life, everybody that ever believed in you, everybody that ever gave you an opportunity in your life, you can't let them down. And I can't stop you. I can't stop you. Even if I wanted to, I can't stop you because you're about to get stronger.
Carney back. Got the pass caught. Well, we got a Tennessee player. It's Inky Johnson who's down.
People ask you all the time if you can go back to September 9th, 2006, that game against Air Force, and you can stop that moment, or you can not play in that game, or you knew this situation was about to happen, would you change it? I can't stop this moment because of the people that believed in you and the people that sacrificed so much for you, and the people that saw something in you and you couldn't see it in yourself. To your grandmother, to your mother, to your mentor, to your father, to your family members, to your friends, to the people that looked to you and were inspired and were encouraged and were motivated. You had overcame so much. And by doing that, it gave so many other people strength. So I don't want you to deal with the disappointment of thinking that you disappointed them because your dream has left. I can't change it because of what's about to happen. But even if I could, I wouldn't. Good afternoon. You know, first and foremost, before I get started, man, I want to thank the staff here, everybody that played a part in making this happen. It's an extreme honor and privilege to play a small part of something so great. I got in earlier. I was able to go to, a couple of different sessions and watch the presenters, man. They were phenomenal. And I think we deserve to give them another hand just for what they're doing. Yeah. You know, man, every time I watched that video, there was a trailer that got did by ESPN, and they went on to produce a short film, kind of a 30 for 30 type of deal. And every time I watch it, I kind of go back and I analyze the situation and what happened, right? On that day, I think about when it first happened and first started, but I backtrack it, right? And I think about every detail that I had that Saturday and the way I went about my games every Saturday in college football. And I'm going to tell you the thing that blew my mind. The thing that blew my mind was when I prepared for that game, I prepared for it the exact same way I always prepare for a game. I got up the exact same time, right? I did the exact same pregame drills, right? I listened to the same pregame music, right? Right before I played, I always listened to that Phil Collins. I can feel it. Come, that was my joint, right? That coming in the air tonight, right? And I went out in a game of football, right? Football, I've been playing since I was 7 years old. I started playing football in the street. And it was the fourth quarter, and it was a little bit under 2 minutes left in the game. And I go and make a tackle that I can make with my eyes closed and do 20 different ways, and this time the result was different. 2 hours later, I found myself in the emergency room fighting for my life. Wake up the next day, can no longer play the game of football again. Got a paralyzed right arm and hand, got cut 6 times down my left thigh, 1 time across the left side of my neck, 1 time across the right, twice through my right ribs, cut out my right pec, bottom of my armpit to the bottom of my hand, 350 staples in my body, and they bandaged me from my neck to my knees. This ain't lip service. I had to learn how to walk again. Was right hand dominant, can no longer use my right arm or my right hand. Had to go to disability services, learn how to write again. My roommates had to tie my shoes, right, because I couldn't tie them, right? I had to go to disability services and learn how to do different things, and I got a pad like I would give to my 7-year-old son and my 8-year-old daughter when they're trying to learn how to write, and I had to go through my classes, and I had to get a pad because I was learning how to write all over again in the process, right? And I told a kid 2 weeks ago, I said, man, people are so arrogant. Right, like they don't even live with the understanding that one day you could wake up, be on top of the world, be talented, be beautiful, have a skill set out of this world. You could wake up tomorrow, the world can be on top of you. Right, like I asked him, I said, did you see what happened in Houston?
Like cats was just living, then a storm came and it blew away homes, it took lives. And the thing that I love about adversity and opposition is it always introduces a person into who they really are. Right? Like a cat can play like he a jelly bean all day. You can act like you tough on the outside, but you soft on the inside. You could do that all day. But like I told my son, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Like if you ask the average person what do they want to do in life, everybody's going to tell you how they're going to make it happen, what they're going to do. Like it's cute, right? But I don't live in fantasy land. My lineage is a grandmother that dropped out of school 3rd grade, grandfather dropped out 5th grade. Had 16 children. Out of 16, 3 graduated high school. 1 just so happened to be my mother, who got pregnant with me at 16 years old, and I was raised inner city Atlanta in a 2-bedroom home with 14 people sleeping on the floor. So when I first said I wanted to go to the NFL, it was predicated upon me getting my own bed. I just wanted my own bed. I told my cousins, I'm like, man, if I can get my own bed, like we good, and if I could pull my mother off the double shift at Wendy's, like we good. Watching my mother work the double shift from the time I was a kid till the time I was a freshman in college. I just want my bed. And so anytime I competed against a guy or anytime I was working for something, like it's something on the inside of me, I can't cheat myself, right? And I remember I got a call. Me and my wife, we've adopted 3 homeless shelters in Atlanta, and we do work with inner city youth, right? I'm talking about every week. I'm with cats like you every week. Right? And I'll never forget the day I'm downtown Atlanta and I get a call from a mother and she says, Inky, can you come and get him? I'm like, come get who? My 15-year-old son. He disrespecting authority. He disrespecting me. He disrespecting teachers. Like he don't want to listen to nobody. I don't want him to get killed. I don't want him to go to jail. I said, yeah, can I smack him when I get to him? I said, yeah, I'll meet you with him. I meet her with the kid. We go downtown Atlanta. We go up under a bridge, I-20 East to be exact. Like I'm from Atlanta. Right? Like cats come to Atlanta, they think you talking about Buckhead. No, I'm from Atlanta. Right? Atlanta is made up of 6 zones. I'm from Atlanta. They call my neighborhood Little Vietnam. That Atlanta. And I take the kid downtown Atlanta under a bridge, and it's a gentleman that we try to work with from time to time. He's sleeping on a cardboard box, right? He wake up, we talk, I got some food, we're engaging in dialogue. I tap the kid. I say, hey, champ. I said, do you think he planned to do that? Like you think that was strategic? You think one day he said, man, I'm going to be downtown Atlanta, I'm going to be sleeping under a bridge on a cardboard box. Like you think that's what he wanted? The kid's like, nah. I said, what do you think happened? He's like, I don't know. I said, no, take a shot. You bad. You Michael Jackson bad. Take a shot, tough guy. What you think happened? You bad. Like you disrespecting your mother. You disrespecting teachers. Like can't nobody tell you nothing. So take a shot. What do you think happened? He's like, I don't know. What you think happened, Ink? I said, I think life happened. He said, life? I said, yeah, I think life happened. He said, what do you mean by that? I said, I guarantee you at one point he was handsome. I guarantee you at one point somebody told him the things they saw in him. I guarantee you at one point his potential was unlimited, right? But I also guarantee you he didn't realize the question that changed, right? You go to cats and they like, what do you want? Like everybody on the face of this planet wants something. Whether they're in Columbus, Ohio, Atlanta, Georgia, Los Angeles, California, Miami, Florida, everybody on the face of this planet, if you say, man, what do you want? They're going to tell you, I want money in the bank, I want a house for my family, I want clothes, I want food. Everybody wants something. But what they don't realize is the question that changed. It's no longer about what do you want. Now it's about what are you willing to go through in order to get it, because you're going to have to fight to get it. Like life ain't delivering no FedEx package to your door saying, I heard you wanted $1 million, you got it. It ain't coming like that. Like when I watched my mother work a double shift at Wendy's, it did something to me. When I was coming up in that 2-bedroom home with 14 people, it did something to me. When I was watching the cops kick down our front door and sending my uncles off to prison and they giving them more time than they've been living. I'm going to say it again. They giving cats more time than they've been alive. Cat's 18 getting 40 years. He ain't even been on this earth 40 years. And I'm watching this, and I can see the collateral damage. I see when a cat get plucked away from his home and he got a kid, then his kid grows up and his kid is not present in his kids, and I can see how the generational curse is created. I can see how the monster is created. And so I go to my 3 younger cousins and I say, man, listen, okay, we can't be in organized sports right now because our parents can't afford it. We just going to come home and ignite the process. While other cats on the corner selling drugs, trying to be in gangs, we're going to be in the street and we're going to be playing football. And cats looking at us like we crazy. They're like, man, y'all bloody scarred up playing football in the street? I'm like, yeah, if it's going to keep us out of the street. And every single day, like clockwork, we playing ball. Until one day, I'll never forget, we playing football, street lights pop on, and it's a blue pickup truck at the corner, and it changed our life. And I'm standing there, and I stand on the sidewalk, and this truck is coming by, driving super slow, right? And my 3 younger cousins on the opposite sidewalk, and this guy passes us slightly, parks on the sidewalk, get out of his truck, and he says, man, would y'all like to play football on grass? I said, brother, I would love that, man. This street getting rough. Like, where you been? He said, go in the house, get your parents, let me talk to them. My Uncle JJ was there. I said, Uncle, will you please come and speak to this gentleman? Uncle said, sure. Uncle came outside, guy extended his hand, said, hey, man, my name is Trey Hurst. He said, I don't even supposed to be over here. He said, I just dropped the kid home at practice. I'm just checking out the neighborhood. The exact words were, I see these knuckleheads playing tackle football in the street. He said, I run a program across town. Think if y'all bring the boys out, it'd be a great opportunity for them. It could really help them in life. My uncle's response was, sir, we greatly appreciate it. He said, but I hate to inform you, we just don't have the money for anything like that. He pointed at me, he said, Inky's mother, she's a single mother, working a double shift at Wendy's, she don't have it. He said the other 3, their fathers are in and out of the prison system. They don't have it. The coach, without any hesitation, says, I tell you what, you bring them to the park tomorrow, I'll sign them up, I'll pay for it with my own money. I tapped my cousin's leg. I said, man, he ain't even seen my spin move yet, man. What type of guy is this? Right? And my uncle brought us to the park the next day, and I'm standing in line beside this guy, and I'm watching him take cash out of his own pocket, and he's paying for me and my 3 younger cousins to play ball. And in my family, the only people that ended up going to college was me and my 3 younger cousins that he paid for on that street that day. All right? When I looked at that coach to me exemplified what you have present here today. Like people that put this program together simply based upon they care about you. They care about the community. They care about the young people, right? They see the potential. They see what you got, right? And they care about you. And so at a certain point, they're like, man, let's put these resources together and let's go and try to pour into these young, like they care about something that's a lot greater than themselves. Like when that coach did that to me, I'm a loyal person to a fault. And when a person does something for me and they didn't have to, that meant something to me as a youngin'. Like I could never disrespect my mother, and I couldn't hang around cats that disrespected their mothers. Like when a cat cut class to me, that was foolish. I'm like, bro, that's the great equalizer in life, education, and you running from it for a joint? You running from it to smoke weed? I'm like, you don't want your education and your mother out on a double shift just so she could put some shoes on your feet and some clothes on your back? I'm like, you don't want your education and you got teachers that could have been anything they wanted to be in the world. They could have been attorneys, doctors, and they said, I want to work in education. I want to impact people every single day. Like I met my wife when we were in the 5th grade. The first thing she said she wanted to do, I want to work with young people. I want to be a teacher. And we at the park in my neighborhood, you know what the cat said? Why you want to be a teacher? Why you want to do that? She said, because both of my parents got murdered in this neighborhood on the same streets that I walked to school, and I want to do what my 2nd grade teacher did for me. It's deeper than that. See, you'll look at it and think a cat just coming to a classroom, and they just trying to say, oh, A plus B. You thinking they just coming to a classroom. It's deeper than that. It's like a kid told me, my teachers don't like me. I said, bro, you don't have 1 F, you got 5. Do all of them not like you? I said, but at a certain point, you got to become stronger than your strongest excuse. Like, I'm going to be real with you, right? Like, all of y'all right now, right? When y'all came into this world, y'all 15, 16, 17. Like, when you come into the world, like, you look like your parents. But when you leave this world, you're going to look like your decisions and your choices. I'm going to just be real with you. Right? You're going to come into this world, you might look like your dad. They're going to tell, oh, you look just like your daddy. You might look like your mom. Oh, you look just like your mama. When you get to that 30 to 40, you're going to start looking like them decisions and choices. And every single day, the decisions and choices we make, they shape the trajectory of our lives. My grandmother said something to me every single day I walked out of that door. She said, Aquarius. That's my real name. Aquarius. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, every single day, son, remember you got a choice. She said, most importantly, learn from the mistakes of other people because you can't make them all yourself. And so when I saw a cat do something crazy, I'm like, I can't do that. Not if I say I want to get to where I'm trying to get to. Not if I say I want it. Right? It's certain things I can do and certain things I can't do, and I'm coming up in an environment to where failure is the norm. They lower expectations every single day. They shut my high school down 2 years after I graduated and said the kids were too bad, they didn't deserve to go there. Then I went to the Atlanta Public School Board, fought for them to open it back up. They opened it back up and stripped it of all the sports. This is the high school that I fought to go to as a kid. This is the high school when I'm coming up, they like, Ink, we know you can play ball, but if you want to go to college, what high school do you want to go to? I'm like, I'm going to CRIM, Atlanta Public School. They're like, yeah, Ink, we hear you, but they call it crime high, and the dropout rate is higher than the graduation rate. Don't nobody go to college from CRIM. I'm like, yeah, but I think I can do it. They like, Ink, we can't play with your future. They said, we're going to put you at Tucker. Tucker, 30 minutes away from my house. You know what I did every single day when I went to Tucker, when they transferred me? I sat in the front of the school with a cop. I ain't telling you to do this. I sat out there and I looked at the cop every single day. I said, I ain't going to class. He said, why? I said, I don't want to be here. He said, why? But they promised you a scholarship to the University of Georgia. I said, I don't care nothing about that. I want to go back to my community. I believe I can go to the University of Georgia from there. I ain't going to class. They have a meeting with the principal. Hey, Inky, we got you a scholarship to Georgia. I said, I hear all that. I can make it to Georgia from over here, but when I go back to my community, like, y'all don't understand what's transpiring, and when I make it to Georgia from there, when I come back, they're going to say, yeah, Ink, you made it to Georgia, but you went across town to do it. I know what I'm fighting. I got to eliminate excuses. I got to take the same path you take, so when I come at you and I try to check you, you can't hit me with an excuse. I got to go through the same thing you're going through, so when a person does it, you can't come at me and say, oh, but that didn't happen. Nope, I'm going to take the same journey you taking. And my mother fought it. She's like, Ink, no. I'm like, Mom, please. And when she put me back at the school, my first day back, I met a cop, right? And I'm talking about my high school. We had a metal detector, cops. We was TSA before TSA. I'm dead serious. And as soon as I get to the door, you had to put both arms out, head to the ceiling. A cop will search you from the crown of your head to the bottom of your feet, and he'll come back up to your midsection. And if you pass him, then you go through the metal detector. And I'm standing there, and I'm getting searched, and my man says to me, as he's coming back up my body, he said, what's your plan, little man? I said, my plan is to go D1. I'm going to college. His exact words, you'll probably go to cell block D1. And he went to walk off. I'm walking with him. I'm thinking to myself, surely he's making a mistake. I've never met this man a day in my life. And so when he stops, I tap his arm and I say to him, excuse me, sir, but I've never seen you a day in my life. Surely you're making a mistake. He said, no, I know about you. I said, really? He said, yeah, you had some uncles coming to the same high school. I said, yes, sir. He said, they were little athletes just like you, right? I said, yes, sir. He said, aren't two of them serving 13 and 40 years at the federal penitentiary, not even 20 minutes away from these front doors? I said, yes, sir. He said, exactly. Apple don't fall too far from the tree. You'll probably end up in cell block D1. He went to walk off. I walked with him. I said, he definitely got the right one now. I tapped his arm. I said, I'm telling you. He said, we'll see. I said, we will. My senior year when I got my scholarship to play football at the University of Tennessee, first person I went to see at Crim High School was that cop in the lunchroom on lunchroom duty. I went to his table. I slid the paperwork across the table to him. He stood up. He said, I want to ask you one question. He said, how did you do it? He said, you probably thought when I said that to you, I was just trying to be harsh and cold-blooded. I said, yeah, it came across that way. He said, no, I had heard so many people say it. He said, I heard so many young cats say what they wanted, and they thought it was cute, and then they ended up at the gas station across the street trying to set up a trap across the street from the school, ended up getting sent off to prison. He said, I heard so many of them step up to the door and say, I'm going to go D1, and their actions betrayed their words. Like I heard so many people say it, so he said, I just wanted to say something to you to see when I said it to you, would you retreat and say, you know what, sir, you're probably right. I probably will become a product of my environment, or will you walk with me and tap me on my shoulder and say, I don't know who you've been dealing with, but you got the right one. Will I let his words become true in my life and he doesn't even know me? I said, you thought I was trying to go to college. I was trying to break a generational curse in my family. Nobody in my family had been to college. You thought I was trying to go to college. I wanted when somebody stepped into the school, they said, hey, man, you know that kid, Inky Johnson? He a product of Crim High School. I wanted my neighborhood where I grew up, because it was so labeled with drugs, violence, guns, and cats going to prison. I wanted to be the cat that made it from my neighborhood to when they say, you know that kid that's out in the world doing some great work, Inky Johnson, he come from here. Like I wanted to represent where I came from in a certain light. You wasn't just going to talk about where I was at and tell me I wasn't going to make it from where I came from based upon statistics and a zip code. Then my 3 younger cousins came right up behind me, looked at the same cop. All of them went to college. Then they shut the school down. I'm like, unbelievable. I go to Atlanta Public School Board. Can you please open it back up? They open it back up, strip it of all the sports, say the kids too bad, they don't deserve it. I'm like, unbelievable. Then I get to a place like the University of Tennessee. I'm like, man, this is Mayberry. I'm like, y'all get 5 pair of cleats? Y'all get 5 meals? Y'all get steak, shrimp, and spaghetti? I missed meals when I was a kid. I said, but most importantly, you get a process that all you have to do is follow it, and you get a shot. Not at the NFL, you get a shot at education, a shot at the great equalizer in life. All I had to do was have the level of character that when I told you I was going to do something, that I could do it. All I had to do is when I told a coach, I'm going to show up for workouts, all I had to do was show up and work out. All I had to do was come to class, sit in the front row, and do what I was supposed to do. Like, that's gravy to me. And you had cats that had a certain level of talent, but their talent had taken them to a place that their character couldn't keep them. That's why it's so important that you get your character right. Like you got to do the work from the inside first. Like you got a lot of people in the world, they look the part, but on the inside, man, they toe up. Right? Like get your character right. Like I can't speak to you about a house, a car, a money. Like that's low-hanging fruit to me. Like when you start talking about, oh, you can get this, or you can have this, you can get a car, you can get a milk. That's low-hanging fruit if you dedicate it. That's low-hanging fruit if you're committed. That's low-hanging fruit if you got focus. That's low-hanging fruit when you know how to show up and be at a certain place when you say you're going to be at a certain, that's low-hanging fruit. That's the process. Like commitment to me is not saying, yes, I'll show up, yes, I'll do it. No, commitment to me is saying, I am going to stay true to what I said I would do long after the mood that I've said it in has left. Because I'm going to be real with you. Character is not something you inherit. Character is something you got to wake up every single day. You got to fight and you got to build it. I don't care how tall your daddy is. You got to do your own growing. Meaning every single day, what you want, at a certain point, mother can pat you on the butt and say, oh, you're so cute, you got it. But sooner or later, you're going to have to square up and you're going to have to fight for it. Sooner or later, like a mother, a mentor, a coach, a teacher, they can't love you more than you love yourself. They can't love you more than you love yourself. Like you got people that love you to death, but you don't love yourself enough to straighten it out and do right. They can't love you more than you love yourself. Like you got kids that want people to do things for them. Like, man, I'm going to be real with you, right? Like I ain't one of these 5 steps. I ain't that cat, right? I'm going to be real with you, right? I was working with a kid a couple of weeks ago, right? I'm working with him. I bring a cop in to talk to him. You know what he say? I bring Atlanta Police Department in to talk to him. My man says to me, man, I don't want to talk to him. He don't know where I come from. I'm like, what? I'm like, know where you come from? I'm like, you don't even come from nothing like that. What you talking about? Like ignorance is speaking. Like your emotions are overpowering your intelligence, young man. Where you come from? I said, man, listen to the man. Cop talking to him, right? It's him and about 14 other kids. I'm coming down this past holiday, last holiday that just went by. What was the last holiday that just went by? What was it? No, not Halloween. The one before Halloween. Labor Day. Yeah, it's Halloween, yeah. Labor Day, right? Labor Day, right? I'm going to tell you what happened on Labor Day. Me and my wife were coming back down the highway in Atlanta, right? I missed 5 calls from my little sister. And I pick up the phone to call her. She didn't answer. One of my other cousins called me. Right? I pick up and I can hear him screaming, but my call is dropping. I'm in a bad area. Right? And so I pull over off the exit. Show you how the creator work. I pull over off the exit to a gas station. I'm like telling my wife, somebody must want something. I call my cousin back. He picked up. I said, man, what's up? He said, you heard what happened to Aaron? My stomach dropped, man. He the same one that said, man, I don't want to talk to no. I said, nope, what happened to him? He said he just shot a cop in the head and he off the soul. I'm like, where it happened at? Exit 93. I said, I'm off exit 93. How the creator work? I said, where? He said, a Walmart. I'm right across the bridge from the Walmart. I show up on the scene. I'm like, what happened? It's one of my kids. What happened? It's like, yeah, him and 3 other kids, they came into Walmart. They're trying to steal some bandanas, and they get approached by some cops. They call it on him. Other 2 kids run. He run. They chase him around the building. He got a gun. He pull him out. He shoot one of the cops between the eyes. He take off running in the woods. Then he sit back there, and he off himself. I said, why? He wanted to join a gang. I said, a gang? I just had Bible study with them in my living room 3 days ago. You want to join a gang? Like you really let some cats convince you to run up in a Walmart about a bandana? Man, I would have bought you 100 bandanas. All you had to do was call me. But I'm like, young cats are so much in a space to where they're in an identity crisis. They don't know who they are. And so they bump into cats that make them feel special. Let me tell you, if a cat really care about you, when you do something crazy, that cat gonna pull you back on the tracks and say, man, you wildin'. When you acting crazy and you try to disrespect your mother, cat gonna be like, man, that ain't cool, man. Like when you going to school and you're not valuing your, I'm trying to speak to you about somebody that cares about you, not a cat that's just trying to tear you down. And in 10 years, he gonna be sitting on his mother's porch. He gonna be blaming his mother because he's not at the place he wanna be at. Not that type of cat. I'm talking about somebody that really cares about you. Love is not just, hey, I love you. Love is also correction. Because for some reason, young people just think love is, oh, root, go, go, go. No, love is also, hey, man, I need to put you in line. I need to correct you a little bit. I had it. I had pride. I had a chip on my shoulder. I thought when I got to college, anytime a coach said something to me, I'm like, my man trying to send me back to Kirkwood in Atlanta. And I'm busting all the plays. I'm messing up every single day. And every time he like, ain't get it right, I'm like, he trying to send me back to Atlanta. And I come into my 3rd year of college, and I'm at the point to where I'm literally about to get everything I worked for. I'm watching like film on the screen like this, and my coach come in like, Ink, man, I got you. Great news for you. I'm like, what you got, coach? He like, man, you're on track to graduate in 3 years. I'm like, awesome, yep. Hands me a piece of paper, Ink, projected top 30 draft pick as a cornerback. All you got to do is play your next 30 games, next 10 games, Ink, you're automatic multimillionaire. I ran out of the room. I called my mother and grandmother. They pick up. I'm like, listen, after this season, our lives are about to change forever. We'll never struggle again. We'll never miss another meal. Come out, first game, ball out, SEC Defensive Player of the Week, everything great. Second game, 2 minutes left, Air Force, their quarterback dropped back, leads the ball to their guy. He catches it. I'm going to hit him. That's supposed to end the game. And as soon as I hit him, every breath in my body seemed like it left. Body hit the ground, blacked out. Never happened to me before. Eyes open. My guys run over to me. They said, Ink, get up. Let's rock. Let's go. I said, I can't. They said, what do you mean you can't? You always get up, man. You're a captain. We need you. I said, I can't move. I said, what do you mean you can't move? So there's a shock going from the crown of my head to the bottom of my feet. I can't feel anything. Shock eventually leaves, stays in my right arm and hand. They take me off on the spine board. We get beside the ambulance. My father's standing there, and I say to him, Pops, I got him, right? I put it on him, right? He said, yep, Ink, but I think you got the worst part of this one. They rolled me up in the ambulance. Doctor said, we'll take you over, run a couple tests. It's football. Things happen. You'll be fine. They take me over. They run their tests. They bring me back into the room. My mother comes in. She kisses me. She says a prayer. She cracks a joke. Says, Ink, you'll be good. It's football. Things happen. And she's going to walk out. As my mother's walking out, I can hear footsteps from the opposite side. And when I turn and look, it's the head doctor, and he's running and he's screaming. And he's saying, guys, get in here. We got to rush this kid back to emergency surgery. He's about to die. And I'm looking at my man. I'm like, man, you can't use another word? Like, use a synonym, brother. Like, die? Like, yeah, I'm like die, like away from me to die. He's like, yeah. I said, what happened? He said, you ruptured your subclavian artery in your chest. You're bleeding internally. He said, we got to rush you back, take the main vein out of your left leg, plug it into your chest in order to save your life. He said, oh, I guarantee you, you won't be here in the morning. I said, let's go. The next morning I woke up, top 3 most embarrassing moments of my life. People were coming into the room saying, Ink, you're a good guy, man. Like, you deserved it, man. Like, this shouldn't have happened to you. And I'm sitting there like, man, was that it? Like, was that all you wanted? Like, son, all the gifts, talents, and abilities that God had blessed you with, and you limited your life to a football player? Like, everything you had been blessed with, and the only thing you thought about was, I just want to make it to the NFL. And so any other thing outside of that realm, you didn't give it much attention or energy because it wasn't based upon you making it to the NFL and playing football. I'm sitting there and I'm cut up. I'm cut from the top of my neck to the bottom of my leg. I'm cut up. And I'm sitting there and everything I had been working for disappeared in a moment, right? And I got a paralyzed right arm and hand, right? I got cuts. I got bandages all up and down my body. And everything that I wanted in a flash was gone. And the next day, I couldn't do any of it. I'm grabbing my father's shoulder, and I'm having to learn how to walk again. Athlete. Now that 4.38 didn't matter that I ran in a 40-yard dash. Now bench pressing 320 pounds, it didn't matter anymore. Now everything I had did when I can cover a cat from head to toe, now it didn't matter anymore. Now I'm sitting there and it's like, what you gonna do now? Everybody thought, this is the crazy thing, everybody thought my life was over because my football career ended. I'm like, man, is that what they think about me? They thought my life was over. You can't play football, your life is over. They like, what you gonna do now? Go back to Atlanta? I'm like, no, I'm going back to class Tuesday. They like, going to class? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna finish my degree. I'm going to still get my degree in 3 years and get my master's in 4.5, and I'm going to learn how to write all over again in the process. I just feel like we cut like that. I just feel like we cut like that. Like at a certain point, a person will never know how strong they are until being strong is the only choice you have. I just felt like I was cut like that. Like, I'm going to be real with you. I didn't know any different. I didn't know you were supposed to quit when you didn't get what you wanted. I didn't know you were supposed to stop because something happened to you and the general public didn't expect it to happen to you. I didn't know because they told me I was supposed to be in the hospital for 60 days and I walked out on the 3rd day that I was supposed to be in the hospital for 60 days. I told my coach, man, I'm sorry. I told everybody that helped me get to that point, I'm sorry, I apologize. They're like, what are you apologizing for? I'm like, I didn't make it to the NFL. I can't play on Sundays. You know what they said to me? I want you to understand what you got in this room, man. I want you to understand the people that are present for you. I want you to understand the people that put this together. You know what they said to me? It was my coach and my 8th grade math teacher and basketball coach that walked my wife down the aisle at our wedding that told me she was going to be my wife in the 8th grade, and he scared me out of my mind. I said, I'm sorry. They said, sorry for what? I said, I didn't make it to the NFL. Green, Similac behind my ear, man. They looked at me and said, you think we did what we did for you so you could make it to an NFL? I said, yeah, I thought that was part of it. They said, man, we don't even watch the NFL. I said, man, bump the NFL. We didn't do what we did for you so you could be an NFL player. They said, we did what we did for you so you could be a great man one day. They said, we sacrificed for you so one day you could sacrifice for your wife and your daughter and your son. We fought for you so one day when you get a family and you're being trusted with something that's a lot greater than yourself, you know how to fight for them, you know how to show up and be just as dedicated and just as committed. They said, son, we didn't want anything from you. If you're going to do something, go out and do for another young person what we did for you and pay it forward. We don't care about the NFL. It's certain people in this life that are driven off purpose and mission. It's a lot deeper than superficial, materialistic. You can get another car. You could get more money. You could get another house. But when the clock stops, and I don't know if you done paid attention at a funeral, but there's a quote that says you can't take a U-Haul behind a hearse. And when cats show up, they never stand up and talk on the person's behalf and say, oh man, I remember he had $100 million in the bank. Don't never stand up and say, did you see the square footage of his home? Did you see the red bottoms he had on? Did you see his car? Don't say none of that. They stand up and they speak about impact, and they speak about making a difference, and they speak about purpose and mission. They say, man, I remember when I was in the valley, and this cat came to talk to me, and he pulled me up under his wing, and he helped me look at my circumstances in a different way. I remember in my Brother's Keepers program, and they came and they put this program on for us. They gave us some nice pizza. They had different breakout sessions, and cats told different jokes. But most importantly, it was people that were there for us that showed us that they loved us. I seen a guy stand with me one day when I went to serve the homeless, and he was well off. He was doing pretty well, had a little level of success. He came down and he said to us, Inc., I want to give out $100 bills. I said, brother, I don't knock you. You got it to give. Go for it. And he throwing them. One of the homeless men got up and walked over to him and tapped him on his shoulder and said, what you think this is going to do for me? My man was like, I gave you some money. He said, no, but what you think this is going to do for me? He said, yeah, you just gave me 100, but when you leave, I'm going to still be homeless. He said, but because you don't get it, I'm going to help you. He said, thank you for showing me I'm a human. He said, thank you for loving me enough to show up and be present. Thank you for coming, and even though you threw $100 bills, just thank you for coming and trusting God and bringing your presence. And so, young folks, I want one thing from you. If you don't take nothing else from what I said, I want one thing from you. Every single day with your goals, with your dreams, with your aspirations, and everything you want out of this thing called life. First and foremost, find you somebody you love and you respect enough not to disrespect. Secondly, never take your loved ones for granted, never take your life for granted, and never take the talents and the gifts and the abilities that God has blessed you with for granted. Thirdly, get a greater purpose for why you want what you want. So when you face adversity and opposition and a challenge that tries to break you, your association of it will be different. In other words, you won't view adversity as a challenge and as something tough. You'll view it as fuel to propel you toward your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations. Never take this thing called life for granted. Never forget, you could wake up today and be on top of the world, just as sure as you could wake up tomorrow and the world could be on top of you. That's my time. God bless y'all, man. I love y'all. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, thank you. Did she tell you I had to run to the airport?
Man, keep that going, man. One more round of applause, man. Powerful message, right? Powerful message, man. If you ain't get something from that, then he got something else to tell you.
I want to tell you all, I got to speed off and I got to go to the airport because my son's banquet is at 5 o'clock in Atlanta. I got to go 7-year-old son and play baseball. So I don't want y'all to think, oh man, that cat came to speak and he rushed out here jerk. It ain't that at all. I got to get back to my son's baseball banquet because if I'm not there and I'm not present, my man going to remember that. And so thank y'all. God bless y'all.
And it obviously can't get no more real than that, man. One of the things that he said, when you talk about being present, we talk about consistency. I don't know. I'm sure there's some folks in this room that maybe had a similar situation I did. Man, I grew up without a father, right? I'm sure many of you probably feel the same, man. And when we're young, a lot of things are inconsistent in our life, man. We're changing schools, we're changing houses. The people that come in and out of our lives, man, our friends, our family is gone. So when we talk about being consistent, that's important, man, whether we realize it or not. And so when we talk about this program, the city is adopting this program and bringing in great presenters like Inky Johnson and having a great structure and things that we can take away with. This is not just a one-time thing, man. This is going to be consistent. And so if you take nothing else, man, understand what we're trying to do, what we're trying to get accomplished. But you got to also understand, man, it wouldn't be possible without you. So when we talk about consistency, man, you guys have got a lot of information throughout the day. And now we talked a lot about responsibility and being accountable. And so now we got to hold you accountable and make sure that this MBK program in this village, we can continue to grow and be consistent for the folks that aren't here that will want to come next year and want to plug in through the remainder of this year. All right? So now that we've been here, we've experienced these great things, we've heard from some great speakers, make sure that we're taking it upon ourselves, man, to continue this effort as we move forward. Make sense? Yeah. Man, so, I got to ask you a question, man. I got to ask the question. What do we take away, man? Give me two things, man. Two things that we took away from Mr. Inky Johnson, man. You've been talking a lot. Let me hear from somebody else, man. That ain't put their hand up, man. Let me hear from somebody else that ain't put their hand up. Somebody over here, my man. Yes, sir. Yeah, sit up all the way for me, man. Sit up all the way. Troubles through your life. We all go through troubles, man. Don't let nobody determine your future, man. Don't let nobody tell you. They're going to tell you you're not good enough, right? They're going to tell you you're not smart enough. They're going to tell you you're not tall enough. You're not fast enough. They're going to tell you that. Don't let them dictate your future, my man. Absolutely, man. You might not get a chance to do exactly what you want, but there's some other things in life. And you heard that from the panel earlier. Remember, guys said be flexible. We don't know, man. We think we want to go this direction, man, but we know that the good Lord may have a different plan for us, man. And so we just got to be flexible. We got to be responsible and obviously willing to go in a different direction. Yes, sir. Don't take your loved ones for granted. We do that a lot, right? Talking back, disrespect to the parents. We're going to miss them when they're not here. Yes, sir. Perseverance is key to success. Perseverance. Yes, sir. Your life can change in seconds. Absolutely, man. Life can change in seconds. Don't take that for granted. Don't take our family for granted, our loved ones for granted. Don't take our lives for granted. We think we're young, we're invincible, man. We got 50 more years. We got 60, 70 more years. Might not be the case, man. All right? Might not be the case. Much